for today's video, I am back over on Rainy Day, a public Minecraft Skyblock server for both Java and Bedrock. Now today, I'm going to be explaining everything you need to know when it comes to sprites. Before I jump into this video, please drop a like right now, which is the big thumbs up button down below, and please don't forget to subscribe if you are not already. And now let's jump into that. Okay, so what are sprites is probably what you're thinking. Well, first of all, sprites look something like this. I am on the wrong version of Minecraft, hence why my skins are out of the box, but I kind of need to be on this version to be able to zoom in, so just kind of bear with me, okay? But sprites, some of you who have played similar servers will know these as servants. Similar style, should we say. Now, if we do the command /sprite, it brings up a window menu, and in here we can see all of the different types of sprites that you can get. There are 5 different versions. First of all, we have universal. Universal is the best, in my opinion, because you can pick whatever you want it to be. So universal can be any of these 4 categories. Then you have the option for a money sprite, a skydust one, a knowledge one, and then finally a skill one. Now, how you go about getting these are through what we call sprite keys, okay? So you can go to warp crates, and in warp crates you can see in here all the different crates available, and we can come in here and we can preview, and you can see each of these crates in here actually provide you the chance to pull a sprite key. The same when it comes to the preview version of voting. Voting in here, you can see you get the chance to pull these keys, and then obviously those keys give you the chance to pull the sprite key. You can also check out Auction House, because in Auction House, people do sell keys from time to time. And at time to time, sprite keys will become available in Auction House as time goes on. Once you have that sprite key, you essentially come on over and you can open it up in this crate. And you can see the different types of crates as well as their percentages. So obviously the universal one, which I said is the best, that is classified as an epic, and that obviously has a much lower rarity chance than the other ones that you can pull. A couple of other important things to know is that if you do open your sprite key, once it is opened and redeemed, you cannot trade that. It is stuck to your account for the rest of the season, and obviously when the new season starts, everything gets reset. Now if I go back to that window /sprites and I click into any of these, so if I click into money as the example, along the top, we can see all the different sprites that I actually own today. So I have all of these ones in here, and you can see when I hover underneath them, they're actually all placed. So for example, if I was to pick this one up, this box would actually be red because it hasn't been placed down. If you then go into any of these sprites, you'll now have the settings category where you can actually select different things and different upgrades for your sprite. Now the best way to think about this, just for a second, if I come back to the category, money sprite is obviously producing money. You've got skydust, which is producing skydust, which is on the sidebar. When it comes to the knowledge sprite, you can actually specify which study you want it to grind towards, so which category of fish or which category of wood. And so as you can see on my one here, I have it currently set to fishing. I can change the type in here, so I can pick which category I want, and then in here you can actually see all of the ones that I have active, so I can pick which category I want this to basically work towards. And then the final one that we have available is our skill. And this essentially just adds a contribution to your skills, so you can pick which one, and then this will go on to your points for that one. So again, I have mine set to fishing, and so that's how they work there. Now, the reason why I recommend universal is because any of these sprites that you want to be getting a skydust sprite, okay? Because a skydust sprite is producing you skydust. Now, you can sell skydust in game. People buy skydust, okay? They use skydust for island upgrades. So if I do the command is upgrades, you can see all these different upgrades costs skydust. The second thing that you also have, again, is warp PvP, and inside warp PvP is the Stormbroker. I do have a separate video on this, but the Stormbroker, sorry, occurs every hour, and they actually sell the option for you to buy a monthly key using skydust. Right now, in the Earth version, that actually costs 500k skydust for the monthly key. When we are now currently in Underworld, that is costing around 1 million. And obviously this weekend we are going to unlock Void, and the rumor has it it's going to cost around 2 million skydust to buy that monthly key from the Stormbroker. So that is why you basically want everything on skydust where possible, okay? The next thing to note is these sprites only work if you're online, so they're only going to be grinding and earning you skydust or earning you a study if you are online. Now, as far as I know, they work whether you're on your island or whether you're at spawn. I don't believe that matters too much, but you basically just have to be online. When we come into the sprite, there are a couple of settings, okay? So first of all, you can rename your sprite if you wanted to. You can add a cosmetic to your sprite. That includes the glass box that the cosmetic sits on, as well as the actual avatar inside the sprite. The default avatar, as we can see here, and then you can unlock all these different ones through cosmetic keys to be able to customize how your sprite looks. The second option is for you to obviously pick up that sprite. Once you've picked it up, it is not going to work until you place it back down. I also recommend collecting all of the sprite storage before you pick it up if you are planning to move it. And you might be planning to move it to kind of make a nice funky design or a cool layout. I will possibly try to insert some clips of how some people have their sprites laid out. As you can see in here, mine aren't laid out too nicely, but I think they're pretty cool. They're all spread out, which is really nice and what we want to see. After that upgrade, you obviously have the option to also place it. So as I've mentioned, if this box is red, it will say not placed in red. You come in here and you click place, and it will then place it where your character is currently standing. But there are some upgrades, okay? So in this one here, we can see all of the different upgrades. So first of all, the environment. Now, the environment depends on when you opened your sprite key. So, for example, I opened my sprites when it was Earth Realm. Then that meant that I got an Earth Realm sprite. When we then unlocked Underworld, that basically means that I can upgrade my sprite further. However, obviously it costs money. And then when we hit Void, Void is the last one. Again, Void is this weekend. Any sprite keys that you open, once Void is unlocked, it will automatically be on the Void category. So if you have got sprite keys and you don't want to spend cloud coins upgrading them to the different environments, I highly recommend keeping hold of the sprite keys until Void is unlocked and then open them all at once, because they'll all be opened to Void level. You then see that there are 3 different upgrades. You have efficiency, storage, and production. Again, these do cost money, in-game money, which you get from your general grinding and your general selling of whatever it is that you are looking to work toward. The levels, you can see here, current level is 6, my next level is 7. These are capped depending on the environment that your sprite is sat on. So for example, in Earth, you are capped at level 3 when you start at level 1 for the upgrades. When you then move over to Underworld, which is what I am now currently on, the max cap is level 6. As we can see here, it does say in the red text, locked by Void. So when we then unlock Void this weekend, I can upgrade this to a max level of 9, okay? And 9 is the highest that we can go to. Now, in terms of the ones that you actually want to be upgrading, the most important ones, in my opinion, is the efficiency and the storage. You want to be upgrading these pretty much at the same time, okay? They are the 2 most important things. I recommend maxing those out first on all of the sprites that you own. Only when you have maxed them out and you have enough money left over is when I recommend production, because although production, in my opinion, I'm not a huge fan of it. It's a nice to have, okay? So essentially production, it doubles the chance of you getting the double amount of loot or the double amount of Sprite, skydust, or the double amount of studies. But it is a chance. It is not a permanent thing. It is not something that will happen 24/7. So that's why I recommend doing this one last, because I feel like it's a nice to have. And then once your sprites are all placed down, you can either do that window as I keep doing, sprites, and you'll be able to click into each and every one, or you can simply just come across to your sprites and select them. Now, in order to collect them / know when they are maxed, you're going to have to come into them one by one. You're going to click the collect all button and simply just keep coming along like this to be able to collect all of the stuff. Depending on if it's a money sprite, you can see how much money I'm getting. My skydust sprite, so I can come in here and I can collect these as well. As I have mentioned now, that is pretty much everything sprite related. A couple of FAQs and housekeeping. I recommend keeping hold of your sprite keys at this moment in time until we have void unlocked. Go to warp crates, open them, and then immediately get these placed down on your island. Obviously set their task if it is a universal one, or set their study depending on which type of sprite you have. These need to all be, you need to be online in order for all of these to work. So if you're able to, I highly recommend keeping your computer on overnight while you go to sleep and things like that to make the most out of your sprites. Obviously, do remember there is a reboot that happens from time to time. So obviously, if you are kind of going out maybe for 2 days, just bear in mind, like, reboot will most likely happen, so you will be booted out. So it's better to do it overnight while you're asleep and then wake up in the morning and then log back in if there has been a reboot overnight. After that, obviously make sure you are upgrading them. Efficiency and storage is your best 2 options. Oops. So make sure you are upgrading those. Obviously, if you have got cosmetics, I highly recommend putting them on. There are no limit to the amount of sprites you can own. Okay, so I know people who probably have like 100+ sprites. It is absolutely insane. Again, if they will let me, I'll try and insert a clip of what they look like to give you an idea of the level of sprites that some people own. The other thing that is important to take away from this is the keys themselves are tradable, but when you open the key at warp crates, they are no longer tradable and they are locked to your account. You keep them for the entire season, but when the season ends and resets, that is when you will lose your sprite. So yeah, that is pretty much the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if this did help. And let me know your favourite type of sprite and if it is actually universal over in the comments section. I'll see you in another video very soon. And again, if you do have any other guide or tutorial videos that you are wanting to see, let me know as I will get onto those next. But goodbye for now and thank you so much for watching.